Hello guys, in this video I will explain the database engines. First, if you want to see what type of engines present in the database, there is a command called show engines. What it will return, it will give what type of engines present and that information about that engines. Okay, so in this video mainly I will talk about three engines that are InnoDB, MyISAM and the memory engines. Okay, InnoDB engine only supports the ACID when compared to other engines. MyISAM and memory will not support the ACID. Okay, but MyISAM is very fast when compared to InnoDB. Okay, memory engine. So InnoDB and MyISAM will store the data in the disk, but the memory engine will store the data in the RAM. So InnoDB and the MyISAM store the data in the disk, but the memory engine will store the data in the RAM. Okay, now I will create one database, then I will create three tables, then I will insert the data, I will perform the transactions. Then for InnoDB, if you do rollback, it will done. But for MyISAM and memory engines, it will not complete. If you insert the data, but if you roll back, it will not perform. So these are the main thing I want to tell in this tutorial. So first of all, we will create a database. Create database test engines. Okay, now I created a database. Now what I will do, I will create the three tables. Now, by default, if you create any table, the engine set to InnoDB. Okay, by default, if you create any table, the engine set to the InnoDB. Okay, first of all, I will create the table test InnoDB. Here, I will ID int which is primary key, for example, auto increment, and then name. It is string, so worker of 20. So here what happens means I created a table but I didn't specify any engine. So by default it will take InnoDB. So I will enter. So we are not selecting the database. So for that we will select the database test engines. Then we will perform this operation. Now table was created. Okay, if you refresh this one, this will show all tables. Now I will select that one, select store from test InnoDB. Now you will see the ID and name was columns are created. Now this I created the table for the InnoDB engine. By default InnoDB engine was inserted. Now what about the MyISAM and memory? For MyISAM I will just copy paste for speed up the process. Test MyISAM. So if you can't specify the engine, by default it will take InnoDB. So for now I will do engine equal to, I want to create the table MyISAM, so I will do MyISAM. So it will create the table. Okay, so let's start from test MyISAM. Now for memory also same way I will create the table for memory. Test memory. Here I will specify the engine called memory. Okay. Now I created a table. Start from test memory. Okay. Now you have one doubt, I think. For example, I use the engine for test memory is the memory and test MyISAM is for the MyISAM. How do I know the table status? For that, if you want to see the status of the table, there is a command called show table status. Okay, this will return the what are the databases present in the particular database, what are the tables present. For example, test InnoDB, what type of engine, test memory, what type of engine, test MyISAM, what type of engine, what type of version. Like this, every information about a particular table, it will return. Okay. Now what we will do? Now we will use the transaction. Okay. First, I will tell you for the InnoDB engine, start transaction and commit. Between, I will insert the command. We'll write the statement insert into test InnoDB name values InnoDB. Okay. Now, if I run the transaction, it will actually insert the data. Okay. Then I will go for test InnoDB. Insert the data. In the same way, I will do for MyISAM and the memory. MyISAM. So for speed up the process, I will copy paste and change the table name. Test MyISAM, and here I change the name to MyISAM. Okay. It is actually inserting the data, and same thing for the memory. Memory. I will use test memory. Memory. Okay. What happens means so what I will do first, I will select the test InnoDB, then MyISAM, then test memory. For MyISAM, forget to run the transaction properly. Okay. Test is a okay. Now we can see the data in every way. Now what I will do when we can see the demo in the terms of rollback. Okay. Test InnoDB rollback. Okay. Now if you done this one, it will not throw an array any error, but it will roll back the inserting operation of InnoDB rollback into the test InnoDB table. Now I will run the transaction. See, it will not throw an any error. So what happens means it will not insert the data. So select start from test InnoDB. So it will not insert the data. But if you come for the MyISAM or memory engine, what I will do if I do rollback, which is actually not there in the rollback in the MyISAM engine. So what happens means it will add MyISAM roll back data into the test MySQL table. Okay, what I will do, I will run the transaction. See, roll back. It will give us warning. Okay, now if you see the actual data in the test MySQL, the data is added. But what is the purpose of rollback? If once transaction started, if you do any rollback, the existing data will not insert into the particular table. So for the memory also, I will do same thing. Test to memory rollback, back, so rollback. So I will, if I run the transaction, what happens means it will insert the data, but it will not roll back. So here for the memory and MyISAM, the asset properties will not work. So for MyISAM and memory, the asset properties will not work. The MyISAM and the memory, the asset properties will not work, but only the InnoDB engine will perform the asset properties. Okay, I hope you understand with the practical example why the test memory test MyISAM will not work for rollback, because that particular engines was not support for the asset, but InnoDB is supported for the asset. That's why if you put rollback, the existing insert operation will not insert the data. Okay, thank you.